this is sort of big first-person universe where we're creating, this stuff where you are a character, and you get into ships, you get into vehicles, you go places, you travel, and so it's all, so these sort of missions and the story you go through, it's not just about, basically getting to space, do some combat, come back and land. It's about the whole thing. The landing part, exploring part. It's on ground. It's on space. It's everything. So it's big, constant campaign.
What's happening? We're offline.
Now, all these systems that you create for Squadron 42, they're also going to be applicable to the Star Citizen Persistent universe. That's correct?
Yeah, no, everything we design here, actually a lot of the work we do here is we obviously do it for Squadron 42, but we also make sure there's a lot of time that Mike Northeast spends and the art design spends, so forth, is all these systems in the capital ships, the way we design the ships and so forth. Actually, Squadron 42 probably won't get used to its fullest amount. We still have to design them to make sure they're working the PU, so we work closely with the guys in Austin, we're working on the Persistent universe to make sure that this stuff works really closely. And of course, obviously, and then LA is sort of a hub for all this, where basically all the stuff comes together.
Okay. Now, speaking of capital ships, you want to tell us some of the specific capital ships you're working on right now, without spoiling Squadron 42 too much.
No, it's all right. Like last year, like I said before, we worked on 2 single-seaters, and Nathan and 2 other artists are working on wrapping up the Retaliator. For next year, our main focus is going to be multiple capital ships, actually, plus a full Vandal fleet. So this encompasses the Ibis and the Javelin, who kind of, because they have the same manufacturer, are kind of going hand in hand in production. Both of them are going to be used extensively in Squadron 42, so our main focus here at Foundry 42 next year is these 2 capital ships. This year was more about, like, okay, how are we going to utilize these ships in the universe, how are we going to render them, lots of technical issues that we had to sort out before we can even, like, start thinking about using these ships on runtime. But yeah, next year the main focus is on these capital ships, including the Panther, Pegasus is now carrying the Bengal, and the Bengal. So yeah, lots of focus on cap ships and large ships next year from Manchester.
Very cool. Now, we were all very excited by the destroyer that we showed on the website last month. A lot of fans are really into that one, especially the modular hull concept. You guys want to talk about the work that went into that?
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's like on the modular side. I mean, a lot of the stuff, a lot of the ships, and it's not just the capital ship side of stuff. It's actually all the ships we're doing. In fact, it's one of the big things. Another thing we're doing in the UK with the rest of the company in LA as well is basically making the systems of the ship so you can buy a ship and then you can easily swap stuff out for different things. So you might have a cargo hold you can use, or you can swap that out for living quarters, or you can swap that out for a torpedo bay, or whatever you want to do. So you want to basically make that stuff, or you want to have you want to swap it out for prison cells, or you can swap it out for hospital beds and so forth. We want to basically create a system so the players can configure the ships the way they want to. And so that's one of the big things. And of course, that whole system moves on to the capital ships, where we basically have these sort of modular environments we can use as well and change out for them as well.
And you guys are going to be applying this to the Cutlass and the Avengers soon. Is that correct?
Yeah, for V1, basically there'll be the basic. We've got the ships have been have done, so people can just play the basic ships. But we're actually going back. So all the guys who bought the Cutlass and Avenger, we're actually going back and give them a lot of love and attention next year, and we're basically going to really just and give them that sort of the modular makeover as well. But we wanted to get something out there, so because obviously we know how many people want to fly the ship. So basically that wasn't the UK as much as I think LA did a lot of that work. Although we did end up in a bunch of the Cutlass and Avenger stuff.
Tech design stuff.
Yeah,
tech design to get into fly.
I guess Mustang something else. But basically we plan to give those back, get them all in, and make a big difference with that stuff. So.
Now, without spoiling it, if at all possible, can you tell us what is so important about Shubin? Because we've been seeing Shubin over and over again. We know you guys have been putting just so much work into this environment.
I mean, it's just. Okay, I mean it's a 6 kilometer long base. It is huge. It is basically modelled to the sort of detail and level that some of our ships are. And the great thing about the new modular interior stuff we're doing, which actually Ian's been working on, is now we have a way of really populating it out. And so once you've got these sort of modular vectors look absolutely fantastic, it means that actually designer going slightly mad on actually just creating these huge interiors and lots of stuff to do. I mean, it has, how many landing bays is it in? It's like
26.
26 landing bays, which will hold a, like a Starfarer, pretty much, and stuff like that. And so, and all these areas are places you can go and explore and do stuff. And so it's a big operating mining base. It's the type of thing when you go to PU, you'll see these around, and it's have working, mining droids. It operates the way it should do, and so forth. And it's just going to be this cool. We want people just to basically turn up and just turn off their engines and sit there and watch it for an hour, and just look at it, and just go wow, even before they even get into the plot. That's the kind of immersion we want to go for on it.
Obviously, it does feature quite heavily in the Squadron 42 first episode as well.
Yes, it's a monster. You could base the whole game on that one, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think, I mean, the other thing that you could probably talk about, although it's not really giving anything away, is sort of what the Squadron 42 gameplay is going to be like, because one of the things that for me anyway, everyone out there hasn't seen it, but we got pretty far advanced gray boxes in the different missions in the game, and just the ability to fly your ship, get out, run around on foot, get involved in combat, solve puzzles, get your way through the Shubin refinery, then get back into the ship and go out and fight and do that kind of stuff is pretty awesome. So I mean, I don't know if you guys want to sort of talk about that, because I think the big difference between Wing Commander and what we're doing with Squadron 42 is just the level of attention to detail, where everything's just sort of rendered and simulated in first person, all the way through, from flying to being on foot, and there's all kinds of gameplay that you can do. So it sort of feels like a completely liberating experience.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, talk a bit about the mission stuff.
Yeah, just one of the best things about being a designer on Star Citizen is just the toy box and mechanics that we've got to play with. It really is just an everything kind of game. So we've got the dogfighting that we've seen in the Arena Commander so far, but the FPS stuff that Philphonic have been working on has come a long way. And the levels right now that we're probably most excited about when we seamlessly transition from your dogfighting into FPS, and you can still see a dogfight battle going on above your head. That if you want to, you can just jump back in your ship and get straight back into the action. When it comes to pacing our levels or pacing our action levels, then sky's the limit, literally, for us,
We make strenuous efforts just to make sure that it doesn't feel like two distinct gameplay types. They're completely blended.
That's not quite. It's like we just, you're a person and you basically choose. You want to fly a ship, you do that. You want to man a turret, you do that, and you go through. But the whole idea is it's basically just kind of like, hopefully what it'd be like if we all had a space station, thousands of years in the future and so forth. We want that sort of feeling when it comes to the players.
Now, are you with all this station setup? Are you premiering? I know it's a mining station, so are you premiering mechanics that will also apply to the Persistent Universe? Are you working with the PU guys on mining?
Yeah, I mean, we're basically the mechanics. It's a big mining station. We're basically doing it. Shubin's in an industrial scale. So that's a level. But actually, the sort of player sort of PU sort of mining mechanics might be slightly different to what we're doing. We're doing the sort of big industrial level kind of, imagine, huge quarry mining type stuff, because that's what it is. That's what Shubin is. But there's also going to be another level which players can do, which is basically go out in their ships and they can just go out and mine stuff and take it back and fill their holes and do that as well.
Very cool.
Do we want to take any questions from the chat? Yeah, I am reading the chat. By the way, which is kind of hard because it goes really fast. Yeah, do we want to take any questions? I don't know if we would do it here or we would do it off the in-house chat or forums, or what we'd want to do for the Squadron 42 team.
Let me just pull up the RSI chat here. While I'm doing that, why don't you guys introduce the? We've got some art from your team that we'd like to show off.
Oh yeah,
you guys want to set it up?
This is the Pegasus, right?
Yeah, I mean, basically, if we can, basically, Pegasus. It's this. I think this is a world premiere of actually what was the pamphlet of Pegasus to see some of the actual first sort of workable concept stuff, and it looks. Well, we think it looks amazing. So
And do you want to describe this, what the ship is first before we show the images?
Yeah, it's escort carrier. It's like the Bengal's little brother. You know, it's a pretty formidable looking ship. It's got pretty hefty ship complement. It's designed by Ryan Church, which is a biggie. That was great fun working with him. Chris Perry. Chris Perry on the interior. Yeah, it's kind of got two tiers, hasn't it? It's got the big hangar at the top, then the lower one, then got the boarding ship, got the side catamaran.
Yeah.
Retaliators.
Yeah, the retaliators.
Strapped in the
And how big is it? It's about 900 meters, right?
yeah, it's about 700. Then the 700 kept on growing and growing. Yeah, unfortunately, in
That's a bit 16.
on February 42, we're not good at keeping stuff small. We just
Yeah, we keep seeing designating you guys ships, and they come back like 2 or 3 times their original size.
So what's the complement of ships on it?
16 Hornets, 16 Gladiators. Well, the Hornets can swap out. We can swap them out for Gladius. Maybe we could swap out. We could swap out like 2 bays for like a single Constellation, possibly. A couple of Redeemers, 2 Argos, 2 Retaliators, but they're kind of underslung on the side catamaran, which is really cool to be honest.
And this will be your home in Squadron 42 for a decent amount of the story. So that when you're talking about, you could just lose yourself and walk around and spend hours and hours in it. It's a living, basically mini city in space where you can go around, talk to crew members, go to the pilot's lounge, go to your bunk bed, basically be on a living space carrier.
That's right.
Yeah, definitely, that's the plan.
Cool. Let's get some images up.
Yeah, come on.
All right.
Yeah, that's.
Where
If
are
you're
they?
watching this, people who are randomly check
Hopefully
out-
Brian's putting the images up now.
Of the Pegasus.
Well, while we wait for that to happen, why don't you tell us over the last years, you've kind of showed more and more development to people. We've heard a lot of terms, white boxing, gray boxing concept. Where in development is the? I keep wanting to call it the Panther because that was the original name, but it is the Pegasus now. Where's the Pegasus right now in those terms?
The Pegasus, well, it's basically it's what we call sort of a white box and concept, right?
Yeah. I mean, basically, concept has been going on for nearly a year, I think, on and off with Ryan.
Showing the images of
So we've pretty much been working hand in hand with design. So pretty much it should be worked out in terms of spatially, in terms of functionality. Now that we've got the model back from Ryan, we can next year we'll start drilling into that pretty heavily, building the whole sort of modular interior. And it'll kind of just be like building your very own sort of aircraft hangar kind of thing.
These are the interesting
battle
images.
cruiser. It's just going to be using the modular system. We'll take Ryan's designs. We'll give them a Foundry 42, bit of extra love. A little more detail here and there, like we like to do, and then I'll make it Bjorn's property to make sure it all works along with that.
All right. Well, it may surprise no one that we're having some technical difficulties with the chat. Apparently, we're so popular that we have taken down the RSI chat. So, if folks out there want to ask a question to team at Foundry 42, can you please ask in the Twitch chat? We will try to pull something out there, even though it is at light speed right
they
now.
found the images.
Images have been found and
So
retrieved
now they got to prep them to go on the
from
live
the bottom
stream.
of the Shivan
Box.
mining.
They're great. They're worth the. They're awesome.
Yeah, you've been setting this up though, so
Yeah, they're gonna have to be. Yeah.
So we might have to set some expectations. This, the sort of pretty much captures from out of a 3D package, so they're not all the super glossy stuff that we often release, but it gives you a good insight into where the ship's
Scale,
going.
size, and everything.
Yeah, we basically start off with Ryan Church initial concept, When we had that in, that was a couple of months ago, then Chris Berry, one of our tech designers, he started fleshing out the complete interior so it made sense. He did timing runs, how long does it take for me to get from my bunk to here, from my bunk to the hangar, from the bunk to the bridge, etc., etc. Once that was all completely fleshed out, it was a huge amount of work, so fair play to him. Then we sent that back to Ryan Church to basically amend the exterior model to go around that whole floor plan with a completely working interior. And Ryan just finished off the completed exterior with all the details that he sees in his design vision. And we just took it back, so yeah, it's basically ready for production.
Now, one question I've seen go by is, have you guys also increased the size of the Bengal at this point?
We'd like to.
Yeah. Well,
No, it's going to stay the same.
Yeah, it's the same.
it's going to stay the same. It's already pretty big.
But it's 1100.
It's a lot chunkier though.
If that's not big enough, I don't know what is.
1,100 what? Meters?
Yeah, now, can you guys
Oh yeah, sorry, meters. Yeah.
kilometers,
Yeah,
miles.
just
Yeah.
checking.
They've made it really big.
Can you guys talk about the landing system you've been working on for the carriers?
We've been working on that.
Yeah.
The lead designer on that isn't here at the moment, and the lead coder isn't.
Brian's putting it on.
But yeah, we've been focusing on pad landing and basically trying to create a manual and auto system. So we kind of want to give you the best of both worlds. If you want to go full on and take the ship right down to the pad yourself, then you can. Otherwise, you can have like an automated assist option that'll help bring your ship in nice and steady.
Yeah. But then again, if your auto landing system takes damage, then you may just have to manual land in some circumstances as well. So it's all going to be real. Nothing. There's going to be no
Going in
cheating.
hot.
Yeah, we're going to do the old crash landing scenario as well, isn't it?
Yeah, which should be fun. I wonder where our ships are. James, where are we doing on the ships?
Oh, I see a ship.
Oh, there's a ship. Okay.
Yay.
And we're also be publishing these to the website right now. Hopefully, William, if you're out there, please publish the
Pegasus
to the website so folks can see it.
I can't really see. Is this the stream we got here?
Yeah, this is the.
Can you dismiss that theater mode thing? So we can
get
actually
rid of
see
that.
the screen.
What, this here?
No,
No,
the
theater
actual
mode
thing you got
is
down there.
This.
We can see it on the over there, not that one.
Oh, well.
Yeah, the stream's slightly delayed for us, so you're probably wondering why we were wondering what it was when you guys were seeing it. But anyway.
No, because that what you just said is delayed.
Oh, is it? Oh well.
Yeah.
See, it's a time paradox.
By the time the live stream is over, we'll all be 4 hours younger.
Yeah. It's sort of like the plot of Interstellar. All right.
No, this makes sense.
That's not the
Well, I think no.
Let's
Oh,
go.
there's more.
Yeah. And I think, the cool thing is because Ryan Church, who designed the original Bengal, and Ryan is working on 2 projects, which one of them is Star Citizen, the other is you can guess, but begins with S and has a W in it. But he's an amazing concept artist, and the Pegasus is also an RSI ship, so it makes sense for Brian to sort of do the overall design of it, because he's sort of set the look for the RSI ships, the Bengal, but also the Aurora and the Constellation. So anyway, I hope you guys like it. That's all getting modeled and built out in the same amount of detail, both on the outside and on the interior. And so that's also one of the big pushes we have for coming up next year, which is Arena Commander really is the test bed for the game itself, both Squadron 42 and the Persistent Universe, for all the sort of space side stuff. So with Arena Commander 2.0, where we're sort of calling the multi-crew ship sort of part of Arena Commander, the big push is not only just having multi-crew ships like we showed with the Constellation, but bigger ones like the Idris, or even bigger ones like the Pegasus or the Bengal, and that requires a whole bunch of sort of very special LOD technology in terms of what you can see when you're inside, what you can see you're outside, how we efficiently create these ships that are a kilometer or more bigger. I mean, I believe Shubin itself is what, about 5 or 6 kilometers big. Right, so all those, you can fly around in space, just like we showed in the FPS demo when we landed on the space station. Well, that was actually a real space station, and we flew the ship up there, and then you got inside and you're wandering around in first-person level of detail. And so one of the big challenges technically for us is to have the engine handle sort of that scoping of detail, where you're flying around in empty space, and then you come and land on a ship or a space station, and it has a huge amount of detail that holds up to sort of better than AAA first-person quality, and so that's sort of what we're focusing on Arena Commander up and coming. So we're hoping to have the multi-crew ship stuff in people's hands sort of the middle of next year, but that's a big milestone that makes all the stuff work for Squadron 42 and the bigger stuff on the Persistent Universe. It's a big technical challenge. Ali is trying to figure out how we have tens of thousands of draw calls all running and not killing our frame rate. But I'm pretty sure we will. With there's DX12 is coming down the road, and there's OpenGL next, and there's some of the newer APIs for graphics are going to allow us to be able to render a lot more stuff efficiently. But anyway, it's pretty amazing, because essentially in the way we're doing it, it's sort of how you would imagine it if you saw a movie and you were wandering around and you were on Battlestar Galactica or something like that, and that level of detail. So that's what we're going for, and the Panther is going to be one of your major homes in the Squadron 42 story, but there'll be a few other ones. So I think you guys, I've said it a few times, but Squadron 42 is going to be so many orders of magnitude more than anything that I've ever done in the past on a Wing Commander, just in terms of scope and scale and ambition, and that's the way it should be. And I think you guys are going to have a great time when you get it in your hands, the first episode next year. Right, Aaron?
That's right, next year.
No more dates.
All right, so where are we at now? I think we're probably on to, we're moving on?
There's some fan photos.
Let me ask you a question first, because I know we have backers who will not forgive me if I don't mention this one. How is the Starfarer coming?
Well, the Starfarer is actually almost very fleshed out in concept, and we're actually taking this in production in Q1 January at Foundry 42 in-house. So yeah.
It's another ship that's getting the modular treatment as well.
It's getting the full modular treatment. So you'll be able to swap out complete rooms or sections of it, change the whole cargo side of it.
It looks pretty. I mean, I have to say that the new stuff that we had posted internally that came in from, I guess, Gavin Rothery's the concept, who also did the Gladius and a couple other ones. Although I'm not sure we've shown the F8 Lightning, right? We haven't shown that yet.
No, not yet.
No, that looks awesome too. So maybe that'll be something in the future that we'll share. But it looks fantastic. I mean, just the level of detail is, again, sort of, every time I thought the stuff that was in 2012 was good. Then I thought the stuff that we had in 2013 was good, and now the stuff we have this year with the Gladiator and the Gladius and what the Retaliator is going to be is a whole nother level, and the Mustang too. It's pretty awesome. So I'm sure we'll be making stuff even better next year too.
Now you have a couple other screenshots to share with us, I believe. Another ship that you have enlarged over the last year.
You can play your design.
Common theme.
Do you have the images queued up, Ben?
I hope so. We'll find out.
We'll find out. Hey,
let's check out what they're doing.
Can we do the Idris? Or they can probably just hear me on my.
Yeah, they can hear you on your mic.
Yeah, so I don't really need to shout it.
Okay, yeah. So we saw a quick shot there, but just to give you a bit of a heads up. So we're sort of focusing on this next year mainly. So like Bjorn said, we're working in tandem with the Javelin. Because these two are the same manufacturer, they'll be sharing a lot of similar components. So both ships will be progressing kind of in a similar time frame, both ages. So they've both had quite a lot of concept done. So it's now just a matter of taking all the lessons we've learned this year
Nice to
and
have more
employing them
than
into the next year.
But it's looking great, and
I think we've only shown 2 shots. I think there's actually exterior. You may want to talk about the. You may want to talk about the shot, because we have a bunch of interior stuff, right, which is still in the grey box phase. You may want to talk about that, and then there's a more exterior shot that's coming up. But these are all in the Idris, which is a pretty massive ship in itself, right? I think. How big did we make it in the end of the day? 200.
240 maybe.
240 meters.
Yeah, it gained a few pounds after we took it on.
I have the same problem.
I think it'll be good. I mean, do you want to talk about it, Bjorn?
Well, you know, it's like I said before, this is going to be a main focus point together with the Javelin in tandem to bring this up to our desired quality.
There's finally an
here.
exterior shot. The
pretty.
exterior shot's the in-engine version, right?
Yeah, all of it is
Yeah,
in engine.
yeah.
All of it's in engine,
that's
right?
the engine.
So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just the interiors are just the grey box, so it's not filled out with the decals and texturing and the props and stuff. And then the exterior is also in engine with an in-engine Gladiator.
Yeah, well, it's mostly down to that we've learned a lot in the approach how to handle cap ships in general, and how to be sure that we don't have to go back and you know, come to the conclusion that it can't run, or it would never be able to like run in the engine. The inside of this ship as well is completely modular, made modular after design took it on and basically rejigged the whole design on it. Yeah, we had to adapt to that, and like I said, it's going to be our main focal point of Q1 and onwards in the next year.
Yeah, and I'm looking for. I think it's our test case for a capital ship and engine. So that's sort of that we're working on that right now. On the technical side to get it in and worked out with all the what we call the prefabs, which is the modular pieces that you would use inside. So hopefully that we'll be able to show that flying around and getting going on a bombing run, trying to take it out, or being inside it, running into one of the turrets, or jumping out in a fighter and launching from the front of it would be, I think, pretty awesome.
Now we're also going to put a couple of Idrises in the store if folks are interested in picking one up. A lot of people melted their Idrises when the destroyers came out, so we're comfortable putting a couple more out into the wild. There's going to be an allotment of 50 going up now, and then 3 more allotments every 6 hours just to give time zones around the world a chance.
There we go.
There we go. We hope they actually went up.
Well, yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
We'll see. I don't know. So what do we want? Do we want have any last thoughts from the Squadron 42 team before we go to the Moon Collider folks?
Yeah, let's do that.
Way to put us on the
Yeah.
spot.
Exactly.
I think we're just really looking forward to next year, because this year's been a lot of groundwork, as Bjorn was talking about, just a lot of technical groundwork, getting things to solar systems out. There's a lot of other stuff going on. I mean, there's a huge overhaul of the whole damage system we're doing, which is going to work for capital ships and fighters as well, which Ali's a big part of, and things like that, which is going to be a big deal, which we think is going to bring a much higher fidelity to the way the damage states work on ships and so forth as well. There's a huge amount of work going into different systems in the cap ships you're going to see next year. There's all stuff that's going to be going on. I mean, just all the way through to just on the mechanics for the FPS stuff and all those sort of mechanics and stuff that you saw you got a glimpse of in Australia, but now we've got so much more in there and so forth. And so it's like it just feels like this is kind of like we've just gone over a bunch of these sort of technical hurdles. We've got a few more to come, but literally next year feels really good in terms of just getting a bunch of stuff out there, and now we've got a lot of ground bases and a real good understanding of what we've done and what we need to do next year.
Yeah, and I think, the other thing that we're kind of, I think I'm looking forward to sort of showing people more next year is that, I would say the one area of the game that we're, that isn't at the level that, say, the ships are at is the characters, right? So we've been working really hard on the characters. It's not stuff that we're showing yet because we've completely sort of reassessing how we're building the characters, having a whole new base male and female, and a whole new level of sort of fidelity for the animation and the facial stuff. And so that's part of what we were, we've been doing some motion capture recently and some performance capture tests recently, which I think we tweeted out a few pictures over, which was we were doing over in the UK, where we're partnering with Imaginarium, who's they're a really talented, they sort of lead the field in sort of performance capture stuff. I think the goal is to get the fidelity and quality animation of the characters to be as good or better than anything out there. And we aren't there at the moment, but we will be. So the stuff you see wandering around the hangar in 1.0 is not what we're intending to be at. And I think we'll be starting to roll the newer stuff out coming March, April of this coming year. And I think that'll be pretty exciting, because we're kind of really trying to push some stuff. So even in, say, Arena Commander, or when you're flying around in space, your avatar will also sort of, he won't be motionless, he'll blink, he'll have different facial expressions depending on how the battle's going. So you should be able to, look over to your wingmate and see them look over to you, and, they could give you a salute or do that sort of stuff. It'd be fun, and like I said, the animation fidelity and quality we're really going to go for. So, and I know that's a big thing that we're driving out of the UK, where that has ownership of the character pipeline. So you've been staffing up some really talented people, and I'm looking forward to sharing that with the community this coming year. And we will see you. At least we'll see Aaron in a few moments for an Arena Commander match. But we're going to go over to. What ship are you flying again, Aaron, in the match?
I'm going to be flying with Dad now, and then Aurora LX or something.
Yeah. I know you said that last time. I don't believe you.
Especially rigged.
Yeah. I think maybe you've had a word with Rob Johnson on the game rules, and there's a special check on the IP. At least that's good. If I get shot down, that will be my excuse anyway.
That's right. It's going to be Roberts versus Roberts in Arena Commander coming up shortly. But first, we're going to go over to.
I'm going to have some support in there.
It's rolled in some QA aces.
Yeah, I've got Squadron 42 at my back.
Well, now we're going to go over to Moon Collider, which is the studio working on our AI in Edinburgh, Scotland. That's right.
Yes. Oh, someone's actually calling him right now. Who's doing that? That's amazing.
Amazing.
It's happening as we speak.
Oh, there you go. Happy holiday, guys. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves to the community out there?
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Okay, so I'm Adam. I'm an AI programmer. I mostly work on the character
if you
AI.
lean into Adam so we can see you, because there you go. There you go.
I'm Ben. I'm another AI programmer here. I do a mixture of both the FPS AI and ship AI. I'm Matthew. I'm lead architect. I work on design mostly of the different components, and especially on the FPS side. I'm Mike. I'm the lead engineer here. Mostly I've been working on Arena Commander recently, and system universe stuff that's coming up, but I do a bit of everything.
And hi, I'm Diana. I help with administration, QA, and production here. Trying to help keep the guys on track. Yeah.
Awesome, guys. And do you want to? I think we've had some discussions before about it, but what is Kythera's role, Moon Collider's role in Star Citizen?
Kythera is an AI middleware, and we're partnered up with Star Citizen, building the specific behaviors across all of Star Citizen. So that's across not just dogfighting and space combat, but the first-person shooter elements, for instance in Squadron 42, working on the persistent universe as well. And at the same time, we're building up these core technology functions, which are used across all the different aspects of the gun. And sorry, just a little technical problem there.
Wouldn't be the first one today.
What are you saying there?
And so, do you want to? So most of the people know the AI from flying around in Arena Commander, which is still on development. And then, do you want to talk about some of the other stuff that you've been working on that people haven't really gotten to appreciate yet, but will mean a lot when it comes to Squadron 42 and also the persistent universe.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I guess, you know, everybody's seen the dogfighting AI and Vandal Swarm and so on, and in co-op. But we've been doing a lot of work with Squadron 42, Boundary 42, and we're really excited to start showing the FPS behaviors soon.
You're getting, it sounds like you're getting trolled on Skype, basically.
Oh, which might be a little bit.
Yeah.
We're not usually as popular as this, you know? But yeah, the FPS work in particular has been, you know, really exciting for me, and it's really great to be bringing in. Well, maybe Adam can talk a bit about that, the cover behavior and so on that you've been doing recently.
Yeah. So just recently we've been doing a lot of work. The AI was for a while pretty straightforward in how it would attack the player, just pretty much directly going towards you and shooting, and so it's been really nice to be elaborating on that. So cover was a big thing, making them actually select good cover points where they can shoot at the player while, you know, remaining protected themselves. And we just recently got them actually animating, and it's amazing what a difference it makes between having standing in cover and then actually animating and leaning out of cover and looking like they're really using it. It really just adds this whole extra life to them, and then you really feel like you're going against real opponents. And just recently we've been working on separating out their roles a little bit in combat. So up to now they've all just been attacking, but we're now having the ability for some of them to attack, and some of them can then stay back and defend certain points, pick up good bits of cover near something of importance, and then keep on shooting at the player from there. So it's going to make it much more tactical, fighting them in these action bubbles.
Yeah, some of the work that I've been doing recently has been bringing in the groups frameworks so that the AI can communicate and work together as a team, so we can really get those tactics and group coordinations in there as well.
Yeah, and then and then also, I mean, since we'll be sharing 1.0 with the community today, you know, you guys went back and did some more work on 1.0, right, to support some of the features we have in 1.0, like the signatures.
Yeah, sure. So you can hide behind asteroids and that kind of thing now. So it's important that the AI understood like what was going on when they lost you on radar and that kind of thing. So yes, before that, when the AI lost you, when you went behind an asteroid, they just stopped flying because that hadn't been in Arena Command before. So when they brought in the signatures and the occlusion of the radar, we need to add in this extra lost behavior. Yeah, so firstly they'll like remember where you were and fly and try and find you for a bit, and then they'll just go on to kind of a patrol behavior, and you can go and pick them up flying around the level. Yeah, so doing a few bits and pieces there, and also supporting the new like different types of missiles that are looking into the different signatures for the ships, making sure the AI is launching the right kind of countermeasures for the harder AIs and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and Chad in LA has been giving us a hand with that aspect. So yeah, excited to see what people make of it.
Yeah, no, I think I know that we've in 1.0 increased. You know, I think Vandal Swarm is now 18 waves instead of 15. I think it's more challenging than it has been before. You know, we've got some other kind of fun features, and then, you know, longer term, you know, we're going to use Arena Commander as a test bed actually for various scenarios. So we're going to actually, one of our plans is to do more sort of you know, not just Vandal Swarm, but, you know, I don't know, you have to escort a transport ship, or you know, you get attacked by ambushed by pirates. And so the goal is actually we're going to use Arena Commander as a prototype for a lot of the kind of missions or encounters you would get in the persistent universe, and obviously some of those would obviously be pretty heavily sort of AI driven. So I think, you know, this coming year there'll be a lot of fun stuff for people to play with, and challenges for you guys to make everyone seem smart. And I know that you're also working with Tony on the persistent universe for sort of the bigger sort of meta AI, you know, so not just how I hide behind cover, how I shoot you, how I fly in space, but more like, okay, what am I doing, today? What are my goals? I get up in the morning, I go to work, I go home afterwards. What are my overall ambition as an NPC in this world? Which I think are kind of some maybe more of the interesting parts of what's happening on the AI, because you've seen there's been a fair amount of tactical work in the past, but sort of that higher level stuff has been less of. So I don't know if you want to talk about any of that. I know that Tony's been sort of working closely with you on the sort of passive AI, I guess we're calling it.
Yeah. So it was a few months ago now that I went over to Austin, spent a few days there with Tony, talking through the details of the AI design for the persistent universe, and really focused on when you're landing planet side, when you're in the dock, and you've got maybe all of these AIs moving around you, interacting with that world, using the shops, going into the bars. That there's this really rich variety of behaviours that they can exhibit, really bringing the place to life. And some of the challenge for us there really is just using the same low-level building blocks across all these different parts of the AI. And a big thing that we did a few months ago was bringing in this behavior tree framework. And that now means that this same behavior tree design is used for the ships, used for the first-person combat, and we've built it up into the design that Tony and his crew are using for the high level areas. Yeah. Yes, in the living world AI. Yeah, it's a very flexible system, so it can both be used to develop these combat behaviours and then these completely different people behaviours. The difference between a barman and a soldier is huge, but it's all using the same underlying technology. And I think it's really exciting just bringing all those different elements together in a game. You can have that richness going on around you, but then be able to jump in a spaceship and fly off and start fighting with a pirate. So it's really exciting working on all those different.
And I believe when we debut the first iteration of the planet side module, which I think we've called the social module of planet side, that'll be the first iteration of the AI that people will do, because they'll be wandering around one of the environments, and you'll go into shops and buy and sell stuff, go into a bar, and there'll be people going about their daily lives. So that's going to be pretty cool. I think people will like it.
Yeah, looking forward to getting that out. Yeah.
Let them get back to their heavy drinking.
Yeah. What are you guys doing there? You're playing.
Well, so this is the last school day. We're finishing for the year this evening. So 4 games.
4 games. All right. How's the weather up in Edinburgh?
Little bit of snow. You guys were
pretty cold compared to LA, I imagine.
Yeah.
No, it's actually fairly. It's not that. Warm here. It's like low 60s, whatever.